They always say, the quietest mornings hide the loudest trouble. That Thursday dawn was no different. I opened my eyes to a vibration creeping through the floorboards, the kind that didn't belong anywhere near my farmhouse. For a split second, I thought it was another nightmare, the kind that still visited since my wife, Alina, passed 2 winters ago, but the shaking grew sharper. Real, wrong. I slipped out of bed, heart pounding, and stepped to the window. The world outside was washed in cold blue light, and in the middle of my meadow, something massive moved, something that absolutely, unquestionably should not have been there. A drilling rig. Not a small one. Not the kind farmers rent to fix fence posts. This monster looked like it belonged at an oil site, not on my land, and it wasn't alone. A half-dozen men in reflective jackets stood around it, shouting instructions I couldn't hear over the machinery. For a moment, I forgot how to breathe. They were digging on my land, not near it, not close to the fence line, on it, and they were doing it at sunrise. It's like thieves who preferred the world to sleep. I didn't grab a coat. Didn't he grab a phone? I stormed out the door barefoot, half awake, half furious, all adrenaline. The grass was cold and wet enough to sting, but I didn't stop. The closer I got, the more unreal the scene became. A trench snaked across my pasture, freshly carved. Steel pipes the width of tractor tires lay scattered like bones. The drilling rig punched into the earth with steady, merciless force. "What are you doing?" I yelled. Nobody turned. My voice drowned under the machine's roar. I stepped in front of a worker carrying a clipboard. He froze, startled. "You can't be here," I said, fighting to keep my voice steady. "This is private land." He blinked once, then pointed to a man standing by a silver SUV. Grayed a suit, because nothing says trouble, like a suit pretending to understand dirt. I walked toward him fast. My hands were shaking, and not from the cold. He turned at the sound of my steps, expression unreadable. "Morning," he said casually. We were neighbors bumping into each other at a grocery store. "You must be Mr. Rowan. How about you tell me what the hell is happening on my property?" He didn't flinch, didn't smile, didn't show a hint of guilt. "I'm here on behalf of the Horizon Ridge Community Association," said it like a badge of honor. "We mailed you all necessary notices regarding our water redistribution project." Actually laughed. "I didn't receive anything. You must have. We sent notices to the address on record. I haven't lived at that address in 13 years. Unfortunate oversight," he said, already bored. "But not our responsibility." Behind him, the rig drilled deeper. That's when I saw its stakes driven into the ground, bright orange tape fluttering like warning flags. And painted across the grass, in thick white spray paint, were letters spelling a phrase that turned my stomach. "Over water transfer route, a cold." Realization crept up my spine. They weren't just digging. They were diverting water. My water, runoff from the Rowan Spring, the one that had been flowing through my family's land since the Civil War, was being rerouted straight toward the fancy development that popped up 3 years ago like a weed with marble. "Countertops? You're out of your mind," I said. "You can't redirect a natural spring. It benefits over 200 homeowners," he replied. "And your refusal to cooperate left us no choice." "No choice?" My blood pounded. "You showed up unannounced and carved a pipeline through the middle of my pasture." He glanced at his watch. "We're working under legal authority. If you want to dispute it, take it up with the county." The dismissal hit harder than any insult, and as if the universe wanted to twist the knife, the drill struck something below. A burst of muddy water shot upward. Workers cheered. They'd hit the underground channel. My heart sank. They were stealing my water in real time. I stepped forward. 2 workers blocked me. One raised his hands. "Palms out, sir. Please stay back." That tiny sentence lit something inside me I hadn't felt since Elena's last fight in the hospital, a fire fueled by loss. Helplessness an absolute refusal to give up. "No," I said. "I won't." A thought shot through my mind, sharp and clear. I still had the old deeds, the ones Alina insisted on keeping in her desk even after we digitized everything else. She called them anchors to the past. Proof that our land had stories older than any HOA. My grandfather had secured water rights to this property in 1912. His father before him had done the same. If those documents held up, Horizon Ridge had no claim. None. But I needed evidence. Real, legal, undeniable evidence. I turned away from the chaos and ran back to the house inside. Elena's desk was exactly as she left it, organized, gentle, untouched by anything except time. I pulled the bottom drawer open and grabbed the leather-bound folder she labeled.
Spring historical claim.
My hands trembled as I flipped through. There it was. State-certified water rights deed. Signed 1912. Primary claim. Rowan Natural Spring and all flow originating within boundaries of the Rowan property. I exhaled Shakale. They were done. If that deed was valid, I owned the spring outright. I needed someone willing to fight for it. That someone turned out to be a water rights attorney named Jace Colburn, who picked up the phone on the second ring. He listened quietly as I explained everything. The drilling, the false address, the water rerouting, the trespass. When I finished, there was a pause. "Mr. Rowan," he said finally, "you're sitting on a case strong enough to shut their entire project down." Hope flickered small, fragile but alive. "But you have to act fast," he continued. Before they finished tapping the spring, how fast? Today? I swallowed hard. Tell me what to do. 2 hours later, I stood on the ridge above the drilling site with Jace at my side. He carried a folder full of copies, the deed, the maps, the boundaries, the statutes. Everything airtight. The drilling stopped as we approached. The suit turned, annoyed. "This area is restricted, no," Jace said calmly. "It isn't." He handed over one document. The suit scanned it. His expression went dead still. "We are filing an injunction," Jace said. "Effective immediately." The workers looked at each other. The suit tried to speak but stumbled. This can't be valid. It was notarized in 1912, Jace replied. "Predates your development by over a century." A micro shockwave rippled through the site. The rig powered down. Workers stepped back. Panic flashed behind the suit's eyes. Jace leaned closer. "And because you knowingly drilled without verifying water rights, your association is liable for damages. Significant ones." For the first time all morning, the suit had nothing to say. By sundown, the drilling rig was gone. The trench sat abandoned. Their crews didn't even collect the leftover equipment they left in such a hurry. You'd think the ground had caught fire. The next weeks were a storm of legal filings. Angry HOA emails, emergency board meetings, and county investigations. Horizon Ridge tried everything: denial, intimidation. Bargaining, nothing worked. The 1912 deed crushed every argument. 3 months later, the HOA was fined $140,000 for unauthorized drilling, environmental damage, and violation of historical water rights. The board president resigned. The suit who dismissed me so casually was barred from managing future development projects in the county and the spring. It still flows, but now it flows through a protective stone barrier Jace helped me build. A small, arching wall. Alina would have loved it last week. After reviewing the final settlement check from Horizon Ridge, I planted a young willow tree beside the spring. Not to replace anything. Not to mark victory, to honor endurance. Alina always said, "Water remembers." Maybe she was right. Maybe land holds stories the same way people do, quietly, stubbornly, until someone tries to take them. As I watched the willow's thin leaves tremble in the breeze, I felt something I hadn't in years: peace, and maybe even the first hint of a beginning.